In tonight's headlines, GOB launches its first MSME Enhancement Program. NEMO discusses hurricane preparedness, and we learn about the real estate industry in Belize. These stories and more on this week's edition of Belize Now. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, May 31st, 2019. I am Victoria August. Belize's first micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSME, policy and strategy was developed in 2012 to support the development of a competitive sector. On Wednesday, May 29th, the first MSME Enhancement Program, MEP, was launched by the government of Belize through the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Commerce and its partners. The MEP is a program created to benefit MSMEs in Belize. The program is focused on reducing the cost of inputs by providing custom import duty waivers on packaging and labeling materials. We were present at the launch and found out more about the importance of this new program.
With the necessary rules and criteria.
It's a first-of-its-kind program with big impacts for small businesses. The Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises Enhancement Program, or MEP, aims to reduce the cost of doing business and create greater operational efficiency. This, in turn, hopes to strengthen the competitiveness of the MSME sector, the micro, small, and medium enterprises. MSMEs significantly impact Belize's economic activities and employment rate, accounting for a large percent of the jobs in Belize's marketplace, including the food and retail trade, construction and technical businesses, agriculture, and the tourism services.
While it is estimated that MSMEs account for 70% of private sector jobs and income, the government recognizes that more must be done to reduce the cost of inputs for the productive sector and the cost of doing business generally if we are to remain competitive, relevant, and visible in a globalized marketplace. It is the job of government agencies, therefore, to institute programs that will improve conditions.
I'm particularly proud about this initiative because I think it brings direct benefit to our micro, small, and medium enterprises and to our local entrepreneurs who are creating goods and services for Belizean consumption, but hopefully for the export market.
A survey conducted in 2017 by the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Commerce and Beltrade on the labeling needs of the productive sector showed that the high costs of labeling and packaging were negatively impacting the productivity of the MSMEs. Unable to source the right materials, several businesses claimed that their products were unappealing to consumers. Now, with the MEP being available, qualified businesses can now enjoy benefits such as enhanced customs and trade facilitating measures on select packaging and labeling materials, some of which include boxes, bags, ribbons, labels, and packaging or wrapping machines. The executive director of Beltrade said that the ultimate goal is to see businesses grow.
When you look at costs, doing business, sometimes it can be very expensive. And what's more expensive? Inputs. Inputs for the production process or labor. In this case, what the government has done is to approve this program that will provide some level of exemption for for things that they would normally import for their production process. And so when it comes to things like labeling and presentation, sometimes that becomes very expensive. And we have always been saying to business people, even though you're producing local, think global. But this provides an avenue then for them to use that exemption, which is really a saving, to enhance their product, and hence the word enhancement.
packaging
To make the
materials.
MEP possible and help to develop the services of the MSMEs, government, through Beltrade, has worked with several partner agencies, including the Directorate General for Foreign Trade, the Companies Registry, Customs and Excise Department, and the Economic Development Council, which advocates for policy reforms that will make it easier to do business in Belize.
It's all about making our businesses more competitive by simplifying procedures, by making it more affordable to be able to operate, and to encourage people to actually operate in the formal sector. We're talking about small businesses, people who may be doing, just plantain chips, production or making fresh juices, but with a little value added in terms of improving the packaging, improving the quality of the product itself. They can actually potentially earn a lot more and develop and grow their businesses.
This is a first step, but in my view, a significant step forward.
The Ministry of Investment, Trade and Commerce, along with its partners, will facilitate a countrywide roadshow over the next few months to inform MSMEs on the application process and benefits of the MEP. For Belize Now, I'm Miriam
During
Longsworth.
the doctor's dialogue.
This is the first of several MEPs in the pipeline to bolster MSMEs. Interested persons can contact Beltrade for more information on how to apply for the program. 41 men and women of the Belize Defense Force, BDF, departed Belize on Wednesday, May 29th for Exercise Tradewinds 2019, which is being held in the Dominican Republic and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Tradewinds is an annual exercise held jointly by the United States Southern Command and its multinational partners to promote regional security cooperation. This year's exercise comprises 22 nations and over 18 different regional organizations and focuses on 4 main objectives: humanitarian assistance and disaster response, counter-threat network, rapid response, and partnership. Phase 1 of the exercise is being hosted by the Dominican Republic from May 29th to June 9th, and Phase 2 will be hosted by St. Vincent and the Grenadines from June 12th to 22nd. We'll have more stories after the break. Stay with us.
On Wednesday, May 8th, Belizeans soundly decided to take the unfounded Guatemalan claim to the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. According to the special agreement, this is what happens next. 1. By June 8th, 2019, the government of Belize will submit the 2008 special agreement to the ICJ. Guatemala has already done so since their referendum was held in 2018. This will give the ICJ official authority to hear the dispute and to deliver a final binding result. The ICJ will then prepare a notice of when the trial will commence. 2. Next, Guatemala will have up to 1 year, that's 12 months, to submit their case to the ICJ. 3. Belize will then have up to 1 year, that's 12 months, to respond to Guatemala's submission. 4. From there, Guatemala will be given up to 6 months to reply to our arguments, and 5. Belize will then have up to 6 months thereafter to reply to Guatemala's response. 6. After the period of written arguments ends, the ICJ may allow additional pleadings, including oral arguments, and would set deadlines for those. 7. Once the timeline for arguments has ended, the ICJ will deliberate and make a ruling in accordance with the instructions and authorities granted to them by Belize and Guatemala, as per the 2008 special agreement. 8. After the ICJ's ruling is delivered, Belize and Guatemala will have 3 months to establish a joint commission to physically demarcate the boundaries between the two countries in accordance with the ICJ's ruling. The entire process will take no less than 4 years and can be as many as 6 years. This ICJ process will bring a final end to this long-standing Belize-Guatemala dispute. Belize and Guatemala will be able to put old divisions and antagonisms behind us and ensure that peace, development, and cooperation prevail.
Saturday, June 1st marks the beginning of the 2019 Atlantic hurricane season. Our Belize Now team spoke to key figures at the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, to find out what efforts are being made in preparation.
June to November is hurricane season, and with the possibility of tropical cyclone formations come increased preparations from the team of coordinators at the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO. Honorable Edmond Castro, Minister of Transport and NEMO, says that preparation begins long before the hurricane season does.
A lot of people would think that NEMO prepares for hurricane season June to November. But in essence, as soon as the hurricane season finished, in late November, the end of November, we start preparation and self-assessment in terms of checking to see what we did right, what didn't work, how we could improve the organization.
And how is the organization being improved? Shelton Dufour, National Emergency Coordinator, tells us more.
We have done a lot of training around the country. Every district coordinator since January would have done at least 3 to 4 outreach to the schools, 5 to 6 or 7 shelter or damage assessment training. They did also basic community preparedness training, looked at things like search and rescue to ensure that in the event we have to do rescue during an event, or after an event, that capability exists. We've also been doing a lot of planning sessions. For example, we have done meetings with our partners.
Dufour says that disaster preparedness for the organization is a constant analysis. Moreover, NEMO is ensuring that there are systems in place to deal with disasters that are much larger than the country has experienced.
So we're doing large-scale planning to ensure that if it's a category 5, we have a concept, we have a plan, we know what we want to do, and we know there'll be challenges because, we're planning for disasters, we're not planning a wedding, or a bashment, so to speak.
In the event of a hurricane, the public is urged to heed the warnings given by NEMO and prepare a disaster checklist.
You have to have a plan of action. Where will you shelter from the storm? Think about your life. Life comes first. Where will you protect your life and that of your family? Know your shelter, know the route that you'll get there. You need food, we need water, you need your medication.
If you know a storm, you hear the radio and NEMO is telling you to move away from low-lying areas, flood-prone areas. Listen to the warning that we give out so that we could continue to have the record of not losing not one life, because one life lost is one too much.
We may not be able to prevent natural disasters, but we can prepare to brace for impact and minimize the effects. For Belize Now, I am Janelle Rodriguez.
The Ministry of Health, in its efforts of promoting a healthier lifestyle among all Belizeans, has donated outdoor exercise equipment to the different municipalities. On Tuesday, May 28th, Minister of Health, Honorable Pablo Marin, spoke to us about the donation.
Well, it's something I've been mentioning months ago, that I'm continuing to work in a healthy lifestyle, promoting health to the people, telling the people do not drink soft drinks, eat healthy, and the best one is to do exercise. And this is what I'm doing. We have 7 sets right now coming in to the country at a value of about 22,000 US. I need to give thanks to the Taiwanese embassy for the donation, and also the ministry also had to put some of the finance also in it.
A set of equipment was gifted to the towns of Punta Gorda, San Ignacio, and Santa Elena, San Pedro, and the city of Belmopan. A set of equipment was also donated to the Marianne Jones Sports Complex. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Sports, Honorable Patrick Faber, received that donation.
thanks on behalf of the Marion Jones Sporting Complex, where in the city a lot of working out goes on. People try to get fit there. That's a real buzz of activity in the mornings and also in the evenings. And so this is going to be a great addition. I believe that it is a wonderful thing for us to have all over the country. We do emphasize the need for exercise and for people to live a healthy lifestyle, and that means eating right but also doing daily exercise, and this encourages people. You don't have to pay a fee to go to this gym. You don't have to necessarily have a membership. All you do is turn up.
A set of exercise equipment was also donated to Corozal and Dangrega towns last year. Stay tuned for more stories after the break.
On Wednesday, May 8th, Belizeans soundly decided to take the unfounded Guatemalan claim to the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. According to the special agreement, this is what happens next. 1. By June 8, 2019, the government of Belize will submit the 2008 special agreement to the ICJ. Guatemala has already done so since their referendum was held in 2018. This will give the ICJ official authority to hear the dispute and to deliver a final binding result. The ICJ will then prepare a notice of when the trial will commence. 2. Next, Guatemala will have up to 1 year, that's 12 months, to submit their case to the ICJ. 3. Belize will then have up to 1 year, that's 12 months, to respond to Guatemala's submission. 4. From there, Guatemala will be given up to 6 months to reply to our arguments, and 5. Belize will then have up to 6 months thereafter to reply to Guatemala's response. 6. After the period of written arguments ends, the ICJ may allow additional pleadings, including oral arguments, and would set deadlines for those. 7. Once the timeline for arguments has ended, the ICJ will deliberate and make a ruling in accordance with the instructions and authorities granted to them by Belize and Guatemala, as per the 2008 special agreement. 8. After the ICJ's ruling is delivered, Belize and Guatemala will have 3 months to establish a joint commission to physically demarcate the boundaries between the two countries in accordance with the ICJ's ruling. The entire process will take no less than 4 years and can be as many as 6 years. This ICJ process will bring a final end to this long-standing Belize-Guatemala dispute. Belize and Guatemala will be able to put old divisions and antagonisms behind us and ensure that peace, development, and cooperation prevail.
The real estate industry has been a key sector for Belize's economy since the early 1990s. It serves as a driving force in construction and development across Belize. Stakeholders in this industry have been requesting reform in the processing of land documents, as this would alleviate some of the challenges faced by agents and buyers. Our team found out more about the dynamics of the industry and the Lands Department improvements.
The real estate industry is a major earner of foreign direct investment, generating an estimated average of between 200 and 250 million Belize dollars a year. There are around 200 practicing real estate agents and brokers in Belize, most of which are members of the Association of Real Estate Brokers of Belize, an organization established in 2006 that is made up of different stakeholders in the real estate industry. President of AREB, Hugo Miguel, told us that for Belize, the industry is doing well.
We have seen that the market has sustained it and has actually grown. So Belize has a terrific name in terms of investment. It's very attractive, especially to our North American neighbors, and developers have been putting out some good product out there. So the market has been very healthy. Political issues around us, Nicaragua, Panama, Mexico, all this has pushed investment from these countries into Belize. The US economy has been doing very well. That has pushed investment into Belize. So timing, that has worked out in our favor. We're right where Mexico meets the rest of Central America. So right where North America meets Latin America, right where Latin America meets the Caribbean. I mean, we're strategically located and we're English speaking and are based on English common law. So it's easier for people to follow, it's easier for people to get into and understand.
The key markets have always been the islands, Ambergris Caye being in the top spot when it comes to international investment. But over the recent years, interest has expanded to include other areas of the country.
Placencia has quickly grown, has really stepped into that number 2 spot. And number 3 would be between Cayo and Corozal. In terms of our local market, Belize City has remained the strongest local market. And by that I mean local buyers, local investors. Belmopan, second, I would say.
According to McGill, the economic and political climate, the prices of the products, and the types of land available have made Belize an attractive location.
Other international buyers have been looking at raw land, have been looking at farms, right? Private islands, resort-type properties. These type of things have been interesting to the international market. Marina-type properties, things offering, use, marina-type use, boat use.
The process of buying land in Belize has been a complicated one, and one that had adverse effects on the real estate industry as well. However, now that there have been improvements at the Ministry of Natural Resources, particularly at the Lands Registry Department, the process has been made easier. The Lands Registry Department records and registers details and interest of all land in Belize.
Over the years, the Land Registry have seen a tremendous growth in the number of applications accepted and a thriving real estate market. There is no doubt that the Land Registry Department contributes significantly to this new growth. Land in Belize is now steered toward a modernized land administration system, which over the years have been improved. As a result of the land administration system, positive changes has been made which result in an improved system for the general public and the real estate market.
In cases for new titles, through better collaboration with other sections within the ministry, there is already a new system in use.
Applicants are being informed via text message of the status of their application. So once you submit an application with our frontline, the application is vetted, then an instant text message has been forwarded to your phone, informing you of the tracking number. We have divided the section into 3 units, a registration unit, a processing unit, and a research unit. Each unit is headed by a senior officer. So whenever a call comes into this department, that call is channeled to that appropriate person to deal with that.
To help achieve their 2019 goals of improving services, the Lands Department is going to increase their staff complement as well as provide them with adequate skills training.
We want to reduce the processing time for normal transaction at least to 20 working days. Of course, they have exceptions like I explained earlier. Those exceptions will be for new titles, for documents that need publication, and for documents that need investigation. We also will address our email and telephone correspondence. We have specific officer that will be assigned to deal with things like those. So we will respond back to our customer within 1 to 2 working days in terms of addressing our telephone and email queries.
Other changes include a substantive registration check, which will ensure that documents submitted to the Lands Registry are vetted by a senior officer before being accepted for registration. Another significant improvement will be the express registration service.
The service is as a result, sometimes people request urgency for medical reason, death of a family member, you want to have mortgage or for bail caution. So we take those into consideration.
Blackett said that through the changes, the department aims to see an 80% customer satisfaction rate by the end of 2019, a projection that also includes the real estate industry. For Belize Now, I'm Miriam Longsworth.
Last Friday, Honorable Wilfred Elrington, Minister of Foreign Affairs, met with his counterpart, Her Excellency Sandra Jovel Palanco, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Guatemala, at the Organization of American States (OAS) office at the Adjacency Zone. The two ministers took stock of the progress made in the process of the Belize-Guatemala territorial dispute being taken to the International Court of Justice. Minister Jovel congratulated Belize on the successful referendum, which now paves the way for the case to be heard at the court. The two ministers agreed to jointly brief the members of the OAS next month in Washington, D.C. They also agreed to make arrangements to apprise the group of friends of the Belize-Guatemala process, including the next steps to bring the claim before the ICJ. Minister Elrington reiterated the need for confidence-building measures for the Starstone River in order to minimize tension and avoid conflict. The ministers reaffirmed their commitment to working together to strengthen bilateral relations. And that's it for this edition of Belize Now. If you want to provide feedback or send in your comments, please feel free to email us at info@pressoffice.gov.bz or visit our Facebook page and let us know what you think. We look forward to hearing from you. From all of us here, have a great week. Until next time.